Hey guys, Alpha Fantasy Sports. We're going to break down the top 10 quarterbacks in fantasy football. Stay tuned. Hey guys, Matthew Maurer here of Alpha Fantasy Sports. Today we're going to discuss my top 10 quarterbacks in fantasy football. It's a preseason, so it could make some adjustments. It could be some changes, of course. But for right now, this is how I see the order is going to be. Aaron Rodgers. What can be said of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, to me, the guy is the best quarterback in all of football. Absolutely amazing what he does. Year in, year out, he just continues to put up solid work, doesn't turn the ball over. He's got talented wide receivers. I think this year, again, is going to be a great year for him. Number 2, Andrew Luck. We all knew that Andrew Luck was going to be a great player. However, we did not think it was going to be this sudden, this quick. He's making people in Indianapolis forget all about Peyton Manning, that's for sure. Many people are saying this could potentially be a record-breaking year for him. Just simply amazing what he's doing. Peyton Manning comes in at number 3. A little bit of trepidation with Peyton Manning. Here's a guy that's 39 years old. He's going into a new offense. Maybe not new to what he does, but new into the way the formation's set up. Most of Gary Kubiak's teams in the past have had a lot of the snaps go under center. Peyton Manning, most of his career has played in the shotgun formation. It's going to be kind of interesting. He also lost Julius Thomas to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So either he's going to turn a tight end into fantasy gold, as he has in the past, or it could hinder him a little bit. I mean, Julius Thomas wasn't exactly the year he had the year before. So certainly we know that Peyton Manning can get through this. Drew Brees, number 4, loses his top target in Jimmy Graham, and that's another quarterback where there's a little bit of a trepidation, because Drew Brees has shown in the past that when Jimmy Graham isn't around, he struggled. Now they're gonna have a whole preseason to figure this out. We're gonna see if Josh Hill could come in and be the replacement for Jimmy Graham. Everybody was pretty much surprised that Jimmy Graham was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. So it's definitely something that we're all going to have to keep an eye on. Number 5, Tom Brady. This guy just continues year in and year out to get it done. I have him 5 in a world where you don't know about the suspensions. If the suspensions didn't take place, I'd probably have him number 3 very easily. I think he's a guy that on draft day, you might see some slippage happen, especially if Roger Goodell upholds the 4-game suspension. If Roger Goodell reduces it by 2 games, I think you'll see Tom Brady probably in about round 4, round 5. I think round 3 still might be too early for him, because I think unless you're a New England Patriot fan or unless you're very confident in a secondary quarterback that you might have to play for the first 2 weeks. But if you're like most, I think most people will target Tom Brady in either rounds 4 or 5 if he can get it reduced. If he doesn't get it reduced, you could see a round 5 or 6 grade on Tom Brady, which by the end of the year will be a sheer steal. Tony Romo. Tony Romo had a great statistical year. Really didn't put up the passing attempts that he has in the past because of DeMarco Murray's dominant running ability this year. I mean, it was sheerly just amazing to watch DeMarco Murray behind that offensive line and what he was able to do. 1,800 yards. Tony Romo comes back with a backfield that they're still trying to figure out. So you got to wonder, they're going to pass more. They're going to still incorporate the run as much as they did before. I mean, last year, DeMarco Murray had 392 carries. That's quite a bit of work that Tony Romo in the past didn't have. He didn't have that luxury. So this year, it's going to be interesting to see if Tony Romo's workload gets increased. I particularly think it will. But I don't think it's still going to be the numbers of the past of Tony Romo, which is why I have him there. Cam Newton, number 7. Cam Newton is a guy that I think is going to have a decent bounce back year. He comes from, a year from one of his worst statistical seasons ever. He ended last year already injured with a bad rib. Had a car accident. This guy has talent around him now. Kelvin Benjamin, they did not look like they were really in sync last year. So you kind of wondered, is Kelvin Benjamin that guy that is he a guy that he's going to need to build some cohesiveness with? I think that they're going to get all that figured out this preseason, and I think you're going to see a really good Cam Newton this year. Matt Ryan, number 8. Some may question that. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger should be there, but I'm a firm believer in Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has been fantasy relevant for many years. Just the past 2 years, he's kind of been a little shaky. Some of that's dealing with injury. Some of that's also dealing with the running game taking a hit, and as well as Julio Jones injuries. It certainly had an impact on Matty Ice. You got to think at some point Matty Ice is going to right the ship, and I think we could be seeing it this year. They've desperately tried to fix that running game. It's going to be really interesting to see if Tevin Campbell from Indiana, the rookie that they drafted, if he can supplant Devontae Freeman and get some of that run game back. I mean, Matt Ryan's greatest years were with Michael Turner and having Roddy White, who's now getting up there in age, and having a tight end. Last year's tight end, wasn't Tony Gonzalez, which is, what Matt Ryan is really focused on for most of his career. So it's going to be interesting. I really got to think that Matt Ryan steps around and rights that ship. Ben Roethlisberger, number 9. What can you say about Ben? Had a beautiful year last year, and anybody who had Antonio Brown benefited from this guy throwing those balls to him. I mean, it was amazing to see the kind of growth Ben Roethlisberger had last year. Some of it might be an aberration, though. You don't know. He had 2 huge games, which catapulted his fantasy numbers. So you don't know, is that the real Ben Roethlisberger, or is that just, a figment of imagination? Is he really a top 8 guy? We're going to find out this year, I think. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be out with Le'Veon Bell for a little while. I think it's 2 to 4 games they're going to not have him. So we're going to see, just what Ben Roethlisberger does. And rounding out the top 10 quarterback rankings, I got to say Ryan Tannehill has a lot that I like, going into this year. He's got the rookie Devontae Parker. He's got a new tight end. I just really think the growth of Lamar Miller. I think you're looking at a guy that could have that season that really puts him into that fantasy relevancy. And I think he supplants Matt Stafford, who usually rounds out most guys' top 10 list. Matt Stafford will have the attempts, but he'll also have the really bad games. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is going to have the Matt Stafford gunslinging ability, but he does have one thing that Matt Stafford doesn't have, and that is he is very controlled. He is not wily. He's very, very consistent. And in fantasy football, that's what all us owners love. We love consistency. So look out for Ryan Tannehill. If you guys want more in-depth rankings, please come to the site. We have everything you need, as well as if we don't have what you need, we'll point you in the right direction. Really look forward to talking to you guys. And remember, develop, draft, and dominate Alpha Fantasy Sports. Talk to you guys later.